rebuilding. The catastrophic failure, a new start. Physically, mentally, our careers, our businesses. Step back, first step, next step. The driver in me just wants to get it done tomorrow. We'll do this, do that, let's move this, where are we at with this? You build some confidence, build some self-esteem, start to feel better about yourself. The Silverback Blueprint Podcast, a show for men over 40. We focus on getting stronger, staying motivated, building discipline, creating a community, and becoming truly happy. Hey guys, and welcome to the Silverback Blueprint. Plan for fun in your life. You know, guys, we spend a lot of time talking about, or mostly I talk and you listen, some of you listen, about the things we have to do, the things we got to get fixed, the things we got to work on, and the consistent application of the tools that are going to help us create the life that we truly want, become the person we really want to be inside, and become fulfilled and successful, whatever that may mean for all of us, right? It's going to be a little bit different for everyone. But the one thing I think we forget about, or I think when we spend so much time moving the needle over to the, self-improvement, get things done, take control, right? We're responsible for ourselves, where we are, and we're responsible for how we're going to get to the next level. All that stuff we've been talking about, right? And very important things. But when we move that needle way over to that side, we sometimes also forget that we need to remember we need to plan to have fun. Because it's quite easy for us to turn around and get so caught up in what we're doing that we forget that aspect as well. But when I talk about fun, I'm talking about a little more specific on the fun. I don't mean, that broken habit, that habit that we broke of, Netflixing on the couch and doing nothing with our spare time and looking for instant gratification, over and over throughout the day, whether that's, checking your email and Facebook all the time for that little adrenaline rush, to the fact that, you feel you deserve to treat yourself to a meal at a restaurant 5 times a week. Like, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about truly some stuff that we want to get back to doing that we haven't done, that means a lot for us in enjoyment wise. So it could be going back to, an event that we haven't done in a long time. Maybe you haven't gone to a concert in a long time, or maybe it's, visiting with an old friend or a relative or something, but some specific time with a specific task that's important to you, that is what you consider fun. And at the end of the day, what it also does is that when we put that into our mindset and our planning and stuff, it gives us just another reason to work on our shit, to get our stuff under control, to improve our income, to cut our expenses, to increase our productivity, right? To have a more centered and balanced life, to get healthier, all those things. This is another reason on top of that pile of good reasons to be doing these things. For example, this is something we did, this is coming out probably June, July, I believe. But back in March, me and a couple guys went to down to Columbus and hit the Arnold Expo. For those of you who aren't aware of it, Arnold Schwarzenegger, the very first bodybuilding show he ever won in the States was in Columbus, Ohio. So he said he always wanted to give back to that city. So they started, I think, I'm going to say 20 years ago now. The Arnold Classic, the Arnold Expo. So basically it's just a big trade show where all the key supplements and equipment and, anyone in the health and fitness field wants to be at this event. And it started off small. I remember going 15, 16 years ago before I had kids, and it was a blast then. And back then, if someone was ever in a magazine, a muscle mag, and they were still alive, they were somehow going to be found at that event. It was just crazy. A huge convention hall in Columbus is where they do it from. To the point now where 20 years later, it is the single largest convention, I believe, that Columbus has going on all year long. So it's responsible for millions of dollars of tourism and people coming in. And I just hadn't done it in a long time. I've been so busy on the rebuilding and the doing different things. And Steph, one of my good buddies at the gym, brought it up and said, "Hey, why don't we go to the Arnold Classic?" And Brian Briggs as well was there. And he goes, "Yeah, I've always wanted to go." And the two of them are talking to different, fitness names online and doing different things. So I'm like, you know what? Let's do that. So in January, we decided to do that. And then we just made it a plan. So for me, I said, you know what? I'm going to take this 4 days in March, go down and do it. It was at the beginning of March. And I just made it fit. I made it work. Calculated how much time I would need to take off, calculated how much money I probably would spend. We rented a van, we had a hotel room, we did all that cool stuff. And because I put it into the at the time, the 60, 90-day plan going forward, I treated it like just any other appointment or deadline or event that we were doing for the business or for the family or for the kids with their sports. And in doing so, it gave me that little extra carrot to work towards. And then when I was having a tough day or a rough day or a long day, it also gave me that thing to look forward to and just get a little excited about that overall, right? And it was awesome. We went down. We left, I picked Steph up at 4 in the morning. I picked up Brian at 5 in the morning. We hit the border at 6 a.m., crossed over nice and smooth, and then boom, 11 hours total drive. We were in Columbus, Ohio. That was on the Thursday, checked into our hotel room. And then Friday, we went out and checked out Tiger Fitness, a big online supplement company in the States. They have a gym there. Brian knew Mark Lobliner and a couple of the guys there as well. So we went and hung out, got a great workout in, got to meet some really cool people and stuff. So that was really cool. And then the afternoon we went and hit the expo. So again, walking around, just, tons of people, tons of displays, all kinds of muscles, all kinds of fake boobs all over the place. It was just, awe-inspiring at the beginning. And by the end, you're like, yawn. That's all I've seen all weekend long. Saturday, same thing. We got up. And we went out and checked out Westside Barbell, Louis Simmons' place. It was just in Columbus. But before that, we drove out to Elite FTS, Dave Tate's place. That was in a little town just outside of Columbus. And about 30 minutes, 40 minutes away in the middle of nowhere. But again, his brand new facility, got a chance to tour it, took a lot of pictures and video. We were like kids in a candy store because it was something that was just such a part of us, having trained 25 plus 30 years. Right? This was like, a country fan going to Nashville, right? That kind of thing. An Elvis fan going to Graceland. It really was that kind of thing for us. And it was just a blast to have 3 or 4 days, just me and a couple of guys and just being guys. None of us drank. There was none of that. It was just finding good meals, talking to people. We met so many people. We had so many cool conversations, took a ton of photos. We truly had a great time. And it was really cool to just unplug from, the big projects that I'm working on, the day-to-day life, all that stuff, even get away a little bit from the family and stuff, just sort of, refresh, reset. And you know what? It was a blast. And then came back and just come back with all kinds of motivation, all kinds of excitement, all kinds of ideas. Just really felt like the batteries were recharged mentally, physically, spiritually. We had a lot of laughs. Right? We did a lot of just fun things overall. And it was just a joy. It really, really was. So much so that, coming back, as we're telling the stories and talking, putting the pictures up on Facebook and we're telling people, we're like, oh, we're getting excited. What's the next thing we're going to do? Right? So, it's important that we turn around and we make those things happen. And they don't always have to be super expensive. Last year, we went on a big cruise to Europe. That was a once-in-a-lifetime thing. I always say it for 2 reasons. I'd never gone before, and it's going to take me a lifetime to finish paying for it. But it was a blast. But we need to find something that we can do that is fun, that reaps the benefits of us being healthier and being fitter and being in a better place mentally. We need to celebrate that, right? And we need to make it just as important as all the other big goals we have overall, right? But again, with balance, right? And sometimes it could be something as simple as, hey, you know what? I haven't gone golfing in a while, so let's plan that out. I think some people overdo it. I think, I couldn't do this every weekend. I couldn't do this every month. That's just not how I'm wired, because I really enjoy what I'm doing. And I enjoy the process of the self-improvement journey that I'm on and building the business and the brand and the family. Like, I'm in a really good place. So I want to spend my time continuing that, keeping that ball rolling. But I also realized before going on this trip, it was important to do, but definitely during and while on the trip and coming back, it really drove home how important it is to make sure we plan that fun in our life, right? So if you want to go away once a year down south, if you can afford to go many times, that's great. As long as it doesn't become, a way to escape the things that you're avoiding, right? That's a big difference, right? I think that's the one thing we want to look at is, we want to enjoy, we want to unplug, we want to unwind, but we also don't want to make that how we respond to every little thing that's going wrong in our life. What we need to do is fix the things that we don't like that's going on in our life, professionally, business-wise, relationship-wise, family-wise. We need to work on those things. But when we spend a lot of time working and improving and progressing, we do need to make sure we take some time to do some stuff that's special to us. So it could be a trip, it could be just hanging out with your family, but something specific, something planned. I think the worst thing you can do is say, hey, I'm taking this weekend off. This weekend I'm completely unplugging. And and you get to the weekend, but you have nothing planned. I think that also is a waste. Because what are you going to do? You're just going to flop on the couch longer. You're going to sleep in longer. You're going to stay up later and watch TV longer. We've done so much of that already in our lives, right? I think it's just as important as anything else we want to do that we want to do well is that we go into it with a plan, right? With a purpose and with a desired result, saying, hey, at the end of this weekend or this week, here's some critical things I want to do, I want to see, and I want to have happen. And I think when we do that, well, I know that when we do that, we get so much more out of it, right? And I think that's super important. Put as much effort into these special, fun times in your life as you do in all the hard work you do on the hard stuff that you have to do. And at the end of the day, you're going to get a lot more from it. And I think what's going to happen too is you're going to realize you don't need as much of that downtime because the quality of that downtime is phenomenal. And it lasts a lot longer for us because we got a lot more out of it. And I think that is super important to look at overall. So guys, plan something. Find something you haven't done in a while that you want to do. Do it with your spouse. Do it with your friend. Do it on your own. I know one of the guys, one of my members of my gym, just, he's crazy busy. He's got a lot of business stuff going on. He works super hard. And he just says, you know what? He's got to unplug. And he just went surfing down in I don't know if it was South America or somewhere where they surf at this time of year. And he just said, you know what? I'm just going for 4 days. Right? And he had planned it, but he had to sit there and actually make that plan because he'd been saying, hey, I got to do it. I really need to do that. But then he just sat there and just made that shit happen. Right? And we always laugh, especially as business owners. We feel that it's hard sometimes to take time off because we got to line up so many things before we go. And then we can take off. And we don't really get a chance to, breathe in and really have a big exhale till we're actually at that point where we're on our way to that event or that trip because we're trying to get everything so organized. And maybe that's another sign too of, there's still need to get better systems and get better focus and get better routines going so that it isn't 3 times the work before you leave and twice as much work when you come back. But as they say in Hammy Hamster, if you kids remember that show, that's for another story. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed today's podcast episode. If you haven't already got your new Work Hard Motherfucker t-shirt, head on over to hostilegear.com, save 20% using the discount code Silverback and get that bad boy on your back. It looks good. It's slightly offensive. It's a great message. Don't wear it to church, but wear it to any family function. I'll talk to you guys later.